Good morning. This is Lee Yaffa for Beverly Main Street's On the Spot. Today I'm here with Phil Lowe, the entrepreneur, instructor, and principal of the Furniture Institute here in Beverly, Massachusetts. And Phil, how long has the school been here?
I've been running the school for 15 years now, and this will be our 14th year. We're going to have an open house on June 8th, which will be a furniture exhibit that the students will be able to show off all their furniture, and the public is certainly welcome to do that. It'll be from 4 to 8 in the afternoon, and it's a great time, and you get to see quite a bit of excellently executed furniture by the students and the faculty. So 15 years now has been, we've been going along pretty well. We have 6 students that we focus on in the full-time program, which can be 1, 2, or 3 years. We have weekend classes where people can come in for a couple of days and learn some techniques and so forth, or small project classes. And then we also have 12 weeknights that we run 4 nights a week, where people can come in for 3 hours once a week for 12 weeks. And then we also have a summer program where people can come in and spend an entire week or 2 weeks in the shop, doing a chair or some sort of technique, woodworking as well. So.
That's a great teacher-to-student ratio, 6-to-1 for individualized instruction.
Yes, it is. You don't find that in too many of the schools these days.
And do you focus on contemporary furniture design or more of the classical structures?
Well, it really depends on the individual, but most of the time we'll study antique pieces because they have a track record and they've been around for hundreds of years, and the way that they used to put them together were built to last hundreds of years. And we try to incorporate that philosophy into the furniture that we build, as well as whether it's contemporary or traditional. We like to teach hand skills as well as machine skills, and it's really a great opportunity for people to delve into furniture history. It could be for the academic as well, learning how pieces were put together, as well as trying to incorporate skills as well.
And you take on custom work by assignment, if I understand.
Yeah, I'm at a situation right now where I can be a little choosy with the work that I do. So I do bring in pieces on occasion, because I do like the students to be able to see the interaction between the client and me when I build a piece of furniture for someone, because that's what they're hopefully going to be able to go out and do themselves. And it's really, I also think it's a great thing for them to see me working in the workshop, so how efficient I work at it. A fellow said to me one time, he said, "Phil, you're not a fast woodworker, you're an efficient woodworker."
That's
and that's
good.
what we hope for.
And we're going to step inside now to take a look at some of the custom design and the woodworking shop.
Okay, come on in.
I'm here with Phil in the design room at the Furniture Institute, and we're looking at a manually drafted template for a period piece. It looks like a McIntyre chair. And Phil, talk to me about what's involved here.
Well, generally when we do a piece of furniture, we have to lay it out first. So basically we're figuring out how the piece of furniture is being constructed in the design room. So we draw half a front view, half a side, or a full side view, and then a plan view. And we're able to figure out all the angles that we need. We also develop all the curves that the chair will have once it's constructed. And eventually we make a stock list that we can work with when we go into the machine room.
Now, did someone bring into the shop an actual McIntyre chair for you to follow, or did you look this up in some bibliography of furniture to create this template?
Well, this particular job that I had was to produce 6 of these for the Peabody Museum. And the chairs were going to go into the Pierce Nichols house over on Federal Street. The museum was redoing one of the rooms, and they had an extensive inventory of what was there. they owned a couple of the originals, and they wanted a full complement to go into the parlor that they were restoring.
So we could actually visit the Peabody Museum and that particular house to see some of your finished
Absolutely.
work.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, and we're going to see part of the work in progress on this chair when we visit the workshop, correct?
Yep. Well, I have the chair completely done out there, and then I have another chair that I'm working on at this moment.
Okay, we're here inside the workshop at the Furniture Institute, and Phil, this is the McIntyre chair we just looked at on the drawing board.
Absolutely, that's right. And as you can see, McIntyre was a furniture carver, and that's why it's called the McIntyre chair, because he was the one that actually carved the chair. There was another furniture maker that actually made the chair. But in this situation, these days, we have to do both. So I designed the chair, I turned the legs for it, I carved the back. The only thing that I didn't do was the upholstery on this, which has horsehair for upholstery, and then these gold-plated tacks that are put in on a swag, which my upholsterer did for me.
It's a charming replica, and how far back would the original chair have emanated from?
This chair would have been built approximately 1800 or 1810, and like I said before, it sits in the Pierce Nichols house in Salem.
I see. And does a chair like this ever come up on Antiques Roadshow?
This type of chair would be very, very valuable if it did come up on Antiques Roadshow. And when the museum was having me reproduce this, they would bring the chair over in the morning, leave it with me for the day, then come back and fetch it and bring it back to the museum at night.
Really?
So, yeah.
What do you think an original chair would be
Well,
worth?
I don't know if I would speculate on that, but
Okay, but very worthy and
yeah.
excellent reproduction.
Yep, this is made out of Cuban mahogany, which is unusual to find these days. So
And how long would it take to reconstruct this chair?
this is about 3 weeks' worth of work, actually.
I see, okay. Thanks, and this is a work in progress?
Yep, this is a Chippendale chair that I'm working for right at the moment. It's going to be an upholstered chair, and it has some really nice carving that goes down the front of the legs, and eventually I'm going to carve the arms on this. And I have the drawing for that on the board back to my right over here. As I said before, everything starts off as a plan, and then this is how it actually goes together. But some of the things that we are doing here in the construction of this is, things are mortise and tenon together as opposed to using dowels. We use twin tenons that go into the back of the arm, like so, that'll form the arm, and the rest of the chair is constructed with mortise and tenons as well.
Thanks, Phil. And we're going to move over to a work that a private client commissioned for you to repair a
Stern board
stern board.
for a ship. Yep.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Phil, this is a repair assignment. It's a very impressive piece of carving. And this is a stern board from what period did you say?
We believe that's about 1740s or so. It's, theoretically, it belonged to George Clinton, who was the first, was a colonial governor of New York. And this supposedly came off of one of his ships that he was captain of back at that time. So.
And this is carved out of a solid block of wood.
Well, it's a couple boards that are put together, but basically solid pieces of wood, so all of this material in between here around the dog and so forth all has to be excavated or removed, and then the final carving of the dog itself had to be done. And my job is to sort of take care of this dry rot or that missing void on the belly of the dog.
Here in the workshop, I'm with T.C. Moneta, one of the students, who is crafting a fairly substantial map art table, if I have it right.
Yeah, map chest is what it's originally called. It's from the mid-1800s here in New England. They had a bunch of them. A lot of the local ships would keep all their maps and plans and everything else going on inside. I'm actually making it for a local guy who collects art, He's going to keep all his artwork in these pieces, and this top will fold up to display his work.
And this is constructed out of cherry?
Yep, it's all cherry. I'm using some poplar for the inside of the drawers, but besides that, everything exposed is going to be cherry, which is from Pennsylvania, so it's some local wood, and it's a lot of fun to work with. After a garnet shellac, it will really look nice and bring out some of the grain.
Thanks, TC. Nice work.
Thank you.
This is Brian Days, and he's working on a card table, I believe.
Federal card table.
Date about?
Dated about 1800. It's a reproduction of a card table that was made in Baltimore, Maryland.
And this is a component?
This is a side of the table. It's a serpentine side, and what I have to do is hand shape the profile into the side, and then also there are tenons on the front to connect into the front legs, and there's dovetails in the back that connects into the back rail of the table.
I see. And it fits into these other components you have on the floor here.
Yep.
So dovetails fit into the side, and then the front of the table fits on with the tenons.
And then eventually this will have a shape cut into it as well.
Sure. Voila. We have the makings of a nice card table.
Right.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
And Brian, I'm impressed with your workbench. I understand this is something you built as one of your very first assignments.
Yes, this is a toolbox. It's one of the requirements of the program. What we're required to do is to build the dovetailed box with several drawers in it to hold our tools. What I did is I took a design of a Federal design and put a sand shaded fan down the bottom, and also since one of the requirements is that the toolbox has to lock, I created these locking bars that have an icicle design on it that goes in and locks like that.
And how did you create the fan design at the base?
The fan is created from holly, which is a very light colored wood. It's almost white. And we take and cut the various wedges to go in here for the fan design. And the very edge of this, where it's dark, is put into very hot sand where it starts to burn the wood and creates this kind of three-dimensional look to the fan design.
Very nice.
Thank you.
We're in the machine room at the Furniture Institute, and you can see planer, joiner, table saw, and then a rather intriguing looking machine, if you will, that Phil Lowe designed and built himself. It's patterned after a French chevalier, I believe, and you use it to create these intricate patterns on wood, and Phil's going to give us a little demonstration.
Now, this is what they call marquetry, and this particular technique is called the boule technique, where you take two pieces of wood, stack it on top of one another, drill a hole, put the blade through the hole, and then cut out the shape, and then it's a matter of just interchanging the pieces. You put the black flower in the light background and so on and so forth. And if you use three different types of wood, you can see that you can have an array of different patterns and colors as well. But the way that this works is you sit on the machine here, and the material is put up in the jaws, and it's all hand operated. So you would have the pattern on the material, and you would follow the line all the way around, and it would be cut out like a jigsaw puzzle, assembled and then glued onto the surface. So that's a basic little cut that we would make when we're using this machine. It's a great piece of equipment. Dates probably about 1810, somewhere around there, 1820. I constructed this about 7 years ago. Lee, thank you for visiting the Furniture Institute. I hope that I get to see you again.
Thank you, Phil. It was a great tour.
All right, thank you.
The Furniture Institute will have an open house of student works Saturday, June 8th from 4 to 8 p.m. The Institute is located here at the end of Water Street in Beverly, Massachusetts. They are not open to the general public during regular weekday or weekend hours because it is a school and custom workshop. They do take on custom assignments, and you can schedule an appointment at 978-922-0615. The website is furnituremakingclasses.com. This is Lee Yaffa signing off for Beverly Main Street's On the Spot.